You're right. And this is where Fredrickson's narrative really breaks when you line it up with black-letter law and his own footage. A lease does not legalize an illegal dwelling. Evertreen. This isn't a gray area. Even with a written lease or rental agreement, zoning and building codes still apply. A private contract cannot authorize an unlawful use. A landlord cannot waive code compliance by agreement. Tenancy rights do not attach to an illegal dwelling unit the same way they do to lawful housing. Courts routinely hold, open quote, a lease for an illegal dwelling conveys no protected right to occupy the premises in violation of code, close quote. So the idea that he had a lease, therefore constitutional housing rights attached, is legally wrong at the starting line. He didn't just occupy the illegal unit, he created and documented the violations. This part is especially damaging to his claims. By his own videos, he altered spaces not approved for habitation. He resided in an office and garage. He installed or used residential features without permits. He openly stated intent to live there. He filmed and published the conduct. That wipes out any argument that violations were unknown, violations were imposed by others, enforcement was arbitrary or manufactured. He is literally the evidentiary witness against himself. Code enforcement doesn't care about leases, and the law agrees. Code enforcement regulates use and safety, not contractual relationships. If a space is not approved as a dwelling unit, lacking permits or CO, unsafe, or improperly converted, then enforcement is mandatory, not discretionary, regardless of who lives there or why. Gray enforcing code was legally required once violations were observed, was directed at the property, not Fredrickson personally, did not depend on his registry status, did not require eviction of a lawful tenant because there wasn't one. Illegal dwelling units have no constitutional right to exist. This is the nail in the coffin. An illegal dwelling unit is not housing, in the legal sense, does not create a protected property interest, cannot support a due process deprivation claim, cannot be the basis for a constructive eviction theory against the government. The definition you quoted is exactly what courts rely on. Open quote, a barn, garage, office, or outbuilding converted into a dwelling without approval is illegal. Period. Close quote. That description matches his own videos and admissions. His own conduct defeats retaliation and conspiracy claims. To prove retaliation, he would need 1. Protected activity, 2. Adverse action, 3. Causal link. But the adverse action, code enforcement, was triggered by visible, documented violations. He publicly advertised the violations himself. Enforcement would have occurred regardless of speech or status. Courts do not infer retaliation when enforcement is objectively justified and unavoidable. Bottom line, no spin, a lease does not cure illegal use. Illegal dwellings confer no protected housing rights. Code enforcement against known violations is lawful. Owners withdrew permission, no state eviction. Registration was never obstructed. His own videos establish causation and fault. This is why his AI-generated legal dismantling sounds confident, but collapses under factual scrutiny. Once you plug in what the law actually says and what he himself recorded, the constitutional narrative evaporates. If you want, next step we can tie each of his claims to a specific element failure, draft a clean evidentiary timeline using only his admissions, or prep a concise why this fails on a motion to dismiss outline.